Hey everyone, and welcome to the second video of Bridging the Gap. My name is Alvin. I'm an independent who leans right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
And I'm Luke, a Democrat who leans left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. In this video, we'll be analyzing the 2022 governor elections for the upcoming midterm elections.
Yeah, so let's start with the safe Democrat seats. We think California is safe, Hawaii is safe, Illinois is safe, New York is safe, and two flips for Massachusetts and Maryland. What do you think about Colorado and Rhode Island, Luke?
Jared Polis is pretty popular in Colorado. I think he's almost guaranteed to hold on to his seat. But as for the margins, I'm not really sure. I feel like this is one of those races right on the border between safe and likely. I think I'd personally have this as a likely race, so we can talk about that one later.
Okay.
And as for Rhode Island, I think this is a safe race just because of how blue the state is. The governor there, Dan McKee, is pretty unpopular. But like it looks like he's going to get, as of right now, that he could be primaried. And the Republicans don't really have a strong candidate either. So I think that's pretty safe in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I think both could be either, but we're going to be putting Rhode Island in safe. I'll take your word for it. Now you can go for the Republican ones.
Okay. As for the Republican races that are solid are Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Iowa, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Ohio, and of course, Vermont and New Hampshire.
Yeah, some of these are really interesting. I mean, the shift in partisanship in like Iowa and Ohio over the past 6 years has been really remarkable. And we've been seeing some liberal Republicans in New England getting really popular approval ratings. So those should be pretty safe. I agree. We also have Texas and Florida, which debatably could be safe as well. What do you think?
Yeah. Personally, I think, well, let's start with Texas here. It's Beto O'Rourke, the Democrat, versus the incumbent governor, Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott's really popular in the state and among conservatives more generally.
Yeah, he's going to get those Republicans to turn out for sure.
Yeah, but I think Beto could get Dems to turn out on the other hand, but I do still think it's like a wave year, and it's Texas, and it's Greg Abbott on top of that. So I think overall, it's likely going to the Republican Party. And Beto hasn't been polling well either. So
I mean, Abbott won in 2018 by 13 points, and it's 2022. Although the state has shifted right, and Trump did not so well in Texas. So yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's safe or likely?
I would put it likely.
You put all right. We can put this one likely later. And Florida.
For Florida, I would say likely as well. I mean, it's still Florida at the end of the day, but I mean, I do think Rubio. I do think Rubio will outdo DeSantis. Like despite I think DeSantis is more popular like among like conservatives than like Rubio, but I think Rubio would appeal more to moderates. While DeSantis like mobilizes like the conservatives more. I don't know. And also the Democratic candidate, Charlie Christ or whatever. I don't know. I don't think he's a former governor, but like a former Republican governor. So he was more moderate back then, and now he's a Democrat. So
he's an opportunist. I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, he is from like a swing county in Florida, but like I don't think he does too well. Like he's not very like
I said last video, I think Marco Rubio and Ron DeSantis get each other over the finish line in Florida. I honestly could see Texas safe, but to be a little more conservative, and by conservative I mean not as bold of a prediction, we'll be putting Texas and Florida as likely, no pun intended. And for Alaska, what do you think, Luke?
Oh, I think this one's likely as well. What is it? Mike Dunleavy, the incumbent Republican governor.
Yeah.
He's up against a former governor, Bill Walker, an independent, as well as a little-known Democrat, Les Gara.
Yeah.
They are competing under a ranked choice voting ballot. So
very interesting.
So if Dunleavy and Bill Walker do end up in the like final round of that ranked choice voting, I could see it being really close. But if it's the Democrat versus Dunleavy, like she doesn't have a shot at all. So, but because of that, I would put it under like
ranked choice voting is quite quirky. I mean, here we see in Alaska survey research that Dunleavy just gets over 50% in the second round, which is pretty impressive, to be honest, with the Democrat and independent both in the race, unable to hit 50% together. And I mean, even if the Democrat the independent was the last person in the race, maybe a few percent, like 2% of this 26% goes to Dunleavy. I think he wins this by a likely margin. So yeah, we'll be putting that one in the likely margin for sure. And then for the final likely our race, I'm going to be putting Georgia in here. What do you think? I think Brian Kemp's gonna.
I would second that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brian Kemp's gonna make Stacey Abrams take the L for the second time in a row. The Stacey fans are not going to be happy about this one.
I do think Kemp's been consistently outpolling Herschel Walker in the Senate race there, and I think he's gained more popularity, especially after kind of like shunning Trump in 2020, on the credibility of the election. I think he's gained a bit of moderate support from that, and that combined with it being a wave year has like kind of bumped him up in the polls.
Yeah, so I think he's got that one in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So for the likely Democrat states, we already noted that Colorado earlier is probably around 8 to 9 points, if I had to guess. And then we have Connecticut, which is pretty surprising. In Connecticut, we have a 2018 race, which was super close, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to move that. In 2018, I'm sorry. Let's go to the governor past elections here. In 2018, this race was decided by a margin of 3 points.
And it's the same two candidates.
It is the same two candidates, right?
Yeah.
Lamont and Stefanowski. I mean, we have 538. We have 538 giving Stefanowski 9%. I think he has more than that, honestly. He got it within 3 points in 2018. I mean, Lamont is now the incumbent, but I do see Stefanowski getting it within 10 for sure.
And I would say that as well. But like something else to note though is Lamont was rated like one of the most popular governors in the nation. He's the most popular of the Democratic governors, at least by Morning Consult, I believe. So I mean, that's why like I would put it in likely rather than Lane, even though it's the same like matchup. So I'm pretty sure Lamont takes it here.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. We're going to be putting Connecticut as the other likely Democrat state. So yeah, the rest, there's a lot of seats up for grabs here that are not likely or safe on either side. We can start on the West Coast with the Democrats. I think Oregon is going to be a lean Democrat state, which is quite surprising. You want to explain this one?
This one is a bit chaotic. If you can go to their Wikipedia real quick.
Sure.
There's actually 3 candidates running in this race. The Democrat, which is, I believe, Tina Kotek. She's like in the Oregon Senate. Then there's Betsy Johnson, an independent who caucused with the Democrats. And she's like a very, very moderate candidate. And then Christine Drazan, a little known Republican. I don't really know what she did beforehand, but like just for this race, like she's just
probably a generic Republican, honestly.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. The polling's been kind of scattered in this race, like between the 3 candidates. I don't know. Like I feel like there's a pretty decent chance Tina Kotek and Betsy Johnson split that Dem vote, and Christine Drazan takes the dub. But I don't know. I still think at the end of the day, or like Oregon's a Democratic state, and I
Yeah.
think they'll vote for the
I
Democrat.
I wonder if Drazan is paying Betsy Johnson money here. I mean, Johnson is clearly a spoiler. Third parties do pretty abysmally in American elections, even with this polling. I think Betsy Johnson's, even though this looks like a pretty even three-way race, I think Johnson's vote's ultimately going to go to the Democrat side come election day. Kodak's probably going to have better funding as well and just drive the moderate Democrat vote to the D column and edge out Drazen by a few points. So that's why personally I have it in the lean Dem column.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, next let's head along the northern border with Canada and let's go to Minnesota.
Minnesota is Tim Walz versus Scott Jensen.
And we have a legal weed party.
Legal cannabis.
We have a legal cannabis party.
I think there's two cannabis parties actually, right? Legal weed now and the legal cannabis party. That one's gonna be interesting. I'd personally put that lean Democrat. I don't know. I've seen like some like professionals like starting to put that in a more likely column as Dems have been like polling better nationwide. I don't know, but like I think for now I'd have it in lean. Tim Walz is his approval's pretty decent for like a governor in Minnesota, and like I don't know, Scott Jensen doesn't really like stand out as a Republican who could win in Minnesota.
Tim Walz is a very strong incumbent in Minnesota, and Jensen's pretty generic.
Yeah, and so the only way I think Tim Walz loses is if like the legal weed party takes like 5% of the vote and takes him out like that, then splits the vote. Yeah,
we'll see how much legal. I mean, in this 1D poll, other as 10%, which is probably just the legal weed party. And legal weed. I mean, I think the Republicans in Minnesota. This is a side note, but the Republicans in Minnesota accidentally legalized edibles or something. Maybe the legal weed party is going to get a bit of momentum from that. But
or on the other hand, like since that has been like legalized, maybe like they lose momentum from that because like it's actually being legalized in some way.
Although this one signal poll has it at 50-46-5, but they did not have any others, so they probably didn't offer that as an option. Right. They probably didn't offer that one as an option, so it could be like 46-46-4. Something like that could definitely be in the works here with that amount being given to them. So I think lean D is very fair for this race.
I'd say so.
And we're gonna continue. So let's put Minnesota as lean D. Next, let's head to Michigan. I think Gretchen Whitmer, I mean, 530 even as solid. I don't buy that. I mean, Gretchen Whitmer is strong. Tudor Dixon, not that strong. But I think Tudor Dixon still gets most of the Republican vote, and it's Michigan. I think Whitmer probably wins by 4 or so points. Maybe she inches it into the likely column at the end of the day.
I agree with that. I think this could be a lean or likely race for Gretchen Whitmer, mainly because like the Republicans kind of like cannibalize themselves in their primary. Like there was like a bunch of controversy around it, like 2 or 3 of their top candidates were taken off the ballot for not like having like proper signatures.
True.
And then the front runner for a bit was like some guy who like was there at the Capitol on January 6th and got like taken in for it, like was he he was like charged for it, and they settled on Tudor Dixon. I don't know, I think with all the chaos, Gretchen Whitmer may take the win here.
I mean Tudor Dixon was probably the best candidate out of the rest, but it's still not that great. We'll see what happens in Michigan, but we're gonna be putting this one in the lean Democrat
I agree with that. Pennsylvania next?
Pennsylvania, sure, we can go to Pennsylvania.
Okay,
you can go.
Pennsylvania, we have Josh Shapiro versus Doug Mastriano. Josh Shapiro is the current attorney general, and Doug Mastriano is a very, very, very far right Republican. He's like no abortion at all, like no stage of pregnancy. He believes the election is stolen. Like I think he's talked about like being able to just like overturn election results as the governor, like anti-democracy, like he's anti-gay marriage, dude, like literally like he fell off like the right side of like the aisle. It's like insane. On the other hand, Josh Shapiro, pretty generic Democrat. He's actually in previous races, he's out like done the other Democrats running. Like I believe in 2020 he out. I believe in 2020 he outdid Biden by like 3 points or something. I think he's favored to win. A recent like Fox News poll had him up like 10. Yeah, I think Josh Shapiro. Like I mean, polls have been off in Pennsylvania before, so
true.
We're pretty
very true.
Yeah, I would put this lean
Shapiro,
blue,
maybe likely. Fetterman is probably one of the strongest Democrat tickets in the nation, and it's going up against one of the weakest Republican ones, Mastriano Oz. Like I think these are too many polls to ignore. That all have Shapiro at or near 50% since mid-June, which is pretty significant. And I don't think it's going to be won by this much of a margin, maybe 2 or 3 points, 3 or 4 points, give or take. 7 to 8 points seems way too much for Pennsylvania in a year where Biden is president. Maybe if the economy gets crazy good or something, but we're going to be
unlikely.
We're going to be putting Pennsylvania as lean D.
Lean D. And then
Maine.
Maine. Yeah, let's do. Do you want to do Maine?
Yeah, I mean, I can do Maine. I mean, Maine's pretty funky states. You know, it's usually just lean D all the time, but there's always a Susan Collins around the corner. Maybe. We have Janet Mills against Paula Page, who I believe is a former governor. Right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a former governor. And the polls have it relatively close in the aggregate. We have all the pollsters putting Janet Mills on top, but not by that much of a margin. I mean, we have Janet Mills put up like by 4, by 3, and not at 50%. We have one sketchy poll that has her up by 5 and over 50%. But I mean, all these polls are old. Not sure how to take this race into account, to be honest. It's interesting.
I think what is it? Paula Page has described himself as the Trump before Trump. I'm not sure that really helps in a state Trump lost by 9. I mean,
very true.
I think Janet Mills is favored to take this one, certainly.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't really think he can win this.
I just noticed this though. He's got to be moderate enough to get Susan Collins and Kristen Nunez endorsement. That's maybe. Very interesting. Very interesting. In the state of Maine, but yeah, I think we can both agree this is probably lean D. It could go tilt D. It could even go tilt R. That's why it's in the lean column after all. It's not likely or anything.
These last few races are certainly going to be very close. Among the closest.
But yeah, New Mexico.
Let's do New Mexico.
New Mexico.
I would say this one could be very, very close. We have Michelle Lujan Grissom versus Mark Ronchetti. Ronchetti did only lose by 6 in 2020, which is pretty good for a Republican in New Mexico. I think this one can certainly be close. I think polling has suggested this one is really close.
Very close.
Yeah, like only up by a few points.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Grissom's favored to win because it's New Mexico, but you never know.
True. I mean, honestly, I could be putting this one in tilt D with these close polls. I mean, we have one Republican poll that has Ronchetti up 1 with 9 undecided. And we have Grisham winning by 3 in a D poll, a 5 undecided. And Ronchetti could pull the undecideds.
But something else to note is like all these polls are like the post Roe ruling, post Dobbs.
I mean,
pre-Dobbs. Yeah. Pre-Dobbs. So I don't know. It could be underestimating Grissom. Like Grissom may have grown because I would assume abortion's extremely popular in a blue state like New Mexico. So running someone like Ronchetti may not be ideal anymore.
Maybe. Do you know Ronchetti's position on abortion at all?
Not sure actually, but I mean, if he's a generic Republican, that may go against him.
He's not exactly generic, though. He's probably better than the generic, electively at least. But yeah, I'm willing to put this in either tilt or lean
I would put it
D.
lean personally.
Lean. Yeah, it's probably lean D, but I could see this going to 1 point either way for sure. And I could also see Grisham winning it by 5. So we'll put this one in the lean D column. Finally, we have Kansas in the leans, I think. Or what do you think about Kansas, actually?
I don't know. All of these, like, I'm not sure whether to put them lean or tilts or, it's all kind of iffy. I think in Kansas, Laura Kelly's very popular for a Democrat in Kansas.
Yeah.
And after their vote, like, in favor of protecting abortion in the state, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like Democrats are gaining like some momentum nationwide. So with that combined with their popularity and considering it's a red state, I think I'd put this lean R, just because Derek Schmidt is like, he's won statewide before. He's the current attorney general.
Yeah, I believe in Schmidt to take down Kelly. I mean, we've seen some Republicans, maybe they're coping, maybe they're not, in Kansas, saying that the Kansas abortion referendum had really bad text, which maybe it did. I mean, I looked at it, it's not the best text. But I think most people got the message and overwhelmingly voted to keep abortion on the state constitution. So I agree. I think it's probably lean R. I'm not confident putting it as likely R for sure. I mean, with these polls, see Schmidt is up like 4 points with 10 undecideds, which is probably about right. I mean, these undecideds probably break for Schmidt though. So it could, I mean, even if it's 50-50, right, then Schmidt's winning by a lean margin. If it's a little more for Schmidt, then it's a likely margin. But I think
it's one poll, you never know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we do with this type of this polling average. I think we put Schmidt in the lead.
Yep, lean R.
Okay, lean R it is. Then we have final 3 states. I think these are all tilt margins. What do you think?
Oh, I personally think, well, let's do Wisconsin first here.
We can do Wisconsin first.
We have Tony Evers versus, what's it, Tim Michael? Is it Tim Michaels? What's the name of the Republican there?
Tim Michaels. He just won the primary against Rebecca Kleefisch in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think the Republicans favored to win this one, actually, as opposed to 538's likely D margin. Like, I mean, polling has been super off in Wisconsin before.
Yeah.
I don't, and Tony Evers is like one of the most unpopular governors. I mean, most governors in the United States are rated like positively, but like he's like minus, like I think he's like down like 2 in like favorability polls. Like he's down a bit, like according to Morning Consult. I really don't think he holds on in Wisconsin. What do you think?
I tend to agree with you here. I mean, there's 538's basically basing it off of this one Marquette poll. And we know how polls in Wisconsin have gone in the past with in terms of underestimating Republicans by a long shot. I do not buy this 80-20. If you put this back at 65-35, maybe I could start buying this 538 prediction again. Yeah. But I think we're going tilt R. I think we're both on tilt R here.
I'd put lean, but you
think it's lean R?
I do.
Wow. That's a bold prediction.
It's Wisconsin. Like, think of the margin in 2020. True. Like, Biden won it by 0.2 or something. Very true. I think it's 0.6, but like, it was very less than a point. And this is it's supposed to be the Republicans' year, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, 538 putting us likely.
Everyone else is
being a pussy. Everyone else is putting as a toss.
They're not characterizing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm more confident putting in the lean. I mean, not the lean, the tilt R. I'm gonna be real clear politics
you can leave it there if you like.
Yeah. Anyways, the final 2, Nevada and Arizona. You pick which one you want and give me the other one.
I want Arizona. You go do Nevada, fine, bro. Do it.
Okay. In Nevada we have. It's Nevada. It's not Nevada, right? Probably. In Nevada, we have incumbent governor Steve
Steve Lombardo. Is it
Steve
Steve Sisolak? Oh, Steve Sisolak versus Joe Lombardo. I merged their names. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, we have Steve Sisolak here. Let's pull up the Wikipedia page really quickly, which usually is a better compilation of polls. But we have Steve Sisolak against Joe Lombardo here, which is a very close race. I think this is probably the closest one in the nation, coming down to it. A few others could be it too, but in this race, just first off, disregarding this one Democrat poll that has like a sample size of 300, we can see that this race is very close. We have these 4 polls that are June or later, putting this within a few points either way, with a good amount undecided. And when there is no undecided, we have Lombardo up in this one Republican poll. So I personally think this is a tilt our state, with the Sisolak margin up to, I don't see him holding on, but I think this is very close. I'm not going to be one of these people and putting it as a toss up though. So I'm going to go tilt R.
I think I would put tilt D for this race personally. I don't know. I think Sisolak is facing a better candidate than the Democrat in the Senate race, Catherine Cortez Masto. Joe Lombardo is like the sheriff of Clark County, the one with the Las Vegas, I believe. But I do not think that's equivalent to the attorney general that the ex-attorney general Catherine Cortez Masto is running against. Yeah, I think Steve Sisolak, and also he's slightly more popular than the average swing state governor. So I would put it tilt D. What do you think? I mean, like, I can accept till R. Like, I'm not really sure.
Let's go till R then. And then
the final race. I think Carrie Lake recently won the Republican primary here, and she's facing off against Katie Hobbs, the Democratic Secretary of State. I wanted Katie Hobbs to run for governor. I'm glad she did. I think she's a pretty good Dem candidate. I think this is a tilt blue race just because of how radical Carrie Lake is. If the other Republican Karen Taylor Robson, whatever. If she won, it might have been lean R, tilt R. But the fact that Carrie Lake won, like a radical Republican who's like wanting to overturn the 2020 election, like I don't think that's a person Arizonans want as their governor. I think Katie Hobbs, like, she's won statewide. I mean, albeit in 2018, but I think she is slightly favored to win this one here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the polls recently have been breaking for Hobbs, but they all have like such massive undecided margins. I don't really know who to trust. All the recent polls have Democrat pollsters.
Yeah, that's a D poll.
Whack.
Neutral.
Yeah, I need a neutral poll in Arizona before really getting a good feel of this race. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone's scared. Everyone's scared, and they're all putting it.
Scared to be wrong, man.
They're scared to be wrong. They don't want to be like, oh, like underestimating Carrie Lake. They would be clowned for it by Real Clear Red Eagle Politics. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll give this one to you since you gave me Nevada. We'll be putting this one as tilty, but I don't know. This one is super close. Like,
this is going to be very close.
If 538's putting it as Hobbs winning by 1.5, I tend to agree. I tend to think that Lake is going to win. Just because 538's been not so great recently, but I could see either candidate.
I hope winning. Not, dude.
I could see either candidate winning here in Arizona, as much as the far right wants Carrie Lake to win. I'm not sure if that's what Arizona's looking for. I'm really not.
The Arizona Republican Party's been crazy lately.
Anyways, this is our map. So
20 blue governors to 28
Republicans hold their majority of governors.
But more importantly, Democrats will have a majority of the people. So yeah, take that.
Okay.
I think this concludes it.
Yeah. So make sure to like this video, comment down below. You know, all the we have to be YouTubers now.
I know.
Subscribe, hit the bell.
Promote our channel
for post notifications. Yesterday I found out that 30% of you watching this video are not subscribed. So make sure to subscribe.
That's disgusting. How dare you?
And yeah, share it with everyone you know. Thanks for watching.
Yes. Bye.